Now that you've learned the basics of taking some limits, we're going to talk about what happens when limits don't exist. Remember, the big rule about limits was that for a limit to exist, the y value had to be going to the same thing as we came from the left toward x, toward our a value, and toward the right. Okay, so right now, for this function, we want to look at the limit as x goes to 2 for f of x. And our function here is a piecewise function. It says for x between 0 and 2, the function is negative x squared plus 6. And for x between 2 and 4, including 2 and 4, the equation for it is x minus 1. So let's think about what happens for this limit. Well, as we're coming from the left, the graph, as we get closer and closer to 2, the graph is going toward the y value of 2. Okay, so that would make us think that the limit is 2. But let's look at what happens when we come from above 2. Well, as we come from the right, the graph is going down here, and this y value is at 1. So the question is, what do we make that limit? Well, the answer is we would say that this limit does not exist. Okay, so do we just throw up our hands and quit there? Well, not quite. We can actually talk about what are called one-sided limits. And these aren't as strict as regular limits, but we just talk about what's happening from one side. Okay, and we can talk about the left-handed limit. So what happens as you come from the left or from below, and the right-handed limit. Okay, and the notation we use if we're talking about the left-handed limit as we go to a value, so that would be as we travel from the left, okay, because we're really, even though it's coming down like this, we're saying on the x-axis, we're going this way. Now, I know we're going right, but we're coming from the left. We would call that the left-handed limit. And to know that we're doing a left-handed limit, we put a little minus, because it's coming from, if you thought of a number line, the negative side. So for this function, we would say the left-handed limit, this y value here, is 2. Okay, then when we're coming from the right, when we're coming this way, so think of coming this way on the graph, we would say limit as x goes to 2 from above, or from the right, we use a little plus of f of x. And here we would say it's 1. Okay, so anytime your limit does exist, they have to be the same. The left-handed and the right-handed limit are the same. But if when the limit doesn't exist, we can talk about the one-sided limits, and they're probably not going to be the same.